Hey guys, out here messing with the 93 Typhoon. Just trying to show you a little bit of the progress. Naturally, he hasn't done a lot of the small stuff that needs to be done before he can actually drive it safely. So that block off of the heater core thing still isn't sealed with any kind of sealer. But look how close that valve cover and coils are to the firewall. That was the reason, one of the reasons why in my Blazer I put my 4.8 as far forward as I did, is because I wanted to maintain my functioning factory heater core box, heat and AC box, and on the firewall. This, I believe, is going to be his up dump hater pipe through a different hood, because we originally were talking about dumping it out the fender, but neither one of us are real high on the idea of cutting a hole in a Typhoon fender. So I think he's probably going to just up dump it and just do the hater up pipe. Right now he's running those square coils. We've talked about cleaning up a set of the round coils with the heat sinks on them, because a lot of people say that those are a hotter coil that hold their spark and their charge better against the boost pressure. I apologize, Richard's playing some kind of drill press game back there that's really loud, because, you know, drill bits aren't fast enough. I guess we got to use burrs. Haha, just kidding. Anyway, there's his smooth truck intake. He tried to run one of the new style, I think they call them like the Trailblazer SS manifolds, intake manifolds, but it didn't clear. It was too tall and just caused too many clearance problems, so he just went back to the smooth truck intake. But you can see the turbo's mounted. He's made a huge hole in his front radiator core support because he wants to be able to get fresh air from the front of the vehicle. It's really tight the way that we have it mounted. We're hopeful that that turbo blanket is going to be work good enough to keep from just cooking the alternator every time he tries to drive it. But that's yet to be determined. We got his custom upper hose made, his custom lower hose, which is hard to see. There it is. The lower hose was a really challenging double sharp bend / twisted. I don't know. He found a hose that would work, so that's what counts. That's all put together. Got his radiator mounted. On 3 intercoolers getting ready to be mounted. That's what he's working on now, is the mounts for the intercooler in front of the radiator. And then here's his, I call it the car, the LS1 style high mount power steering pump, which runs these green and black lines over to Hydro Boost. I'm tempted to put Hydro Boost on my Blazer because this thing looks so cool and makes, you know, vacuum and boost doesn't have any effect on your brakes actually working. So having Hydro Boost would be very beneficial if you were moving at a high rate of speed. I don't know what else I could show you right now. Hang tight, we'll see what else we can get on video. A little bit of a progress update. Pulled the front bumper off. Got the top mount for the On3 Performance intercooler. Everything's lining up good to where the charge pipes are going to be run through the core support and up to the throttle body. But as usual, you put things up so you don't lose them, and then you can't find them. So right now we've got a little piece of metal that Richard brought to securely mount the bottom of the intercooler to the Typhoon, and we can't find it anywhere. So if you guys have any specific questions of what, you know, how he's been able to do this LS swap in the all-wheel drive Typhoon, parts he's used, parts list, whatever, put them in the comments, because he's more than willing to, you know, answer your questions, or I can ask him and I'll post up the the answers as I get them from him. But there's high hopes. Let me just say, there's high hopes for this build to totally eclipse not only what it did before with the Turbo 4.3, but to even just leave, you know, just eclipse the potential that the Turbo 4.3 had. You know, I mean, none of us want to put a number on it because we don't want to jinx ourselves. But yeah, we're deep down inside, we're hoping for a good number out of this thing. So I'm just giving you a little bit more update. He did pick up a Holley dash for it to work in conjunction with his Holley Dominator EFI control. You know, he's controlling this setup with the Holley Dominator, and then he just went ahead and bit the bullet and bought one of the Holley dashes too to kind of complete the setup. So as we get a little bit more done, I'll try to add to the video. Bonus footage from the USS Enterprise. We're going to do a test fire of the Holley, what do they call it, Holley EFI dash.
Yeah. Part number 553-106.
Well, apparently, if it gets the power in the ground, it'll just come on and start working.
The white wires are positive, the black wires are negative, of course, and it's just hooked to a switched 12-volt circuit from the directions. No data, of course, we're not hooked up. It's pretty awesome. ECU not found, of course, we're not hooked to it. That's pretty. This is all new, so I don't know.
Anyway, he wanted me to fire it up and be able to show you just kind of what the layout of the Holley dash and all that stuff was. Hopefully we'll be able to get a clean installation in the dash on the Typhoon. I think it'll be okay.
You put different warnings in, red light warnings, high warning, low warnings.
So anything you want to tune, you can do it through there?
Yeah.
Even what about transmission controls?
That's a good question. Nitrous pressure, nitrous heater, water pump, fuel pump.
So, okay, this is where you can tune that short nitrous hit to get it to launch.
You could run it through the...
You know, like I want it to run 50 horsepower nitrous for 0.63 seconds or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, transmission pressure.
You better do some studying.
Different screens.
Oh, that's cool.
Reminds me of like
school.
Reminds me of like the old
Mustang or Camaro or something.
They've integrated this kind of this gauge cluster on the newer cars, newer Mustangs and the Challengers and stuff, bringing back that retro look. Speedometer tag. I don't like that one's backwards. I believe there's a way to switch that though.
That gray box just looks white on my screen. I can't get it to focus on it for some reason. In that what looks like a solid white box on my cell phone is a gray drop down menu with tons of options. For some reason my phone's being goofy, probably because it's after midnight and it's tired.
Right.
Anyway, that is your initial introduction to the Holley Dash. Holley Dominator EFI for the win. Supplemental log of the USS Enterprise. It's getting kind of late now. I'm fixing to go home. But here's that. Isn't this Trailblazer SS intake? This intake he was the one you got. You were gonna run, but it was too tall. Or
They call it like an NBSS.
oh, sorry, NBSS. 4-bolt throttle body, but it ended up being too tall. Wouldn't work in this particular application without. So it's been shipped over and it's going to live on the turbo 88mm turbo Mustang project. It and its huge by huge aftermarket 4-bolt throttle body. What size is this throttle body? 92 or is it big 102?
92.
I can't remember. It's cool looking. There's the little Turbonetics turbo that came off the 4.3. Be a cool little turbo. Throw on some kind of small engine. Throw one of them Turbonetics 60, 61 or 62, whatever the heck that is. Throw that on one of them little 2.2 Chrysler cars. Be ready to roll. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this video off because it's almost midnight. I'm ready to go home. Appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe.